which is on the F4. But the others, bad boys, they're down thousands and thousands.
But is that down thousands of
MSRP? So currently, right now, the R8 MSRP is 1080. That's the cheapest you get it for. If you were the cheapest you could buy one for now is 8600. That's on sale. But if you were to sell yours instantly, there's only a 6k buy-in. 6k is only what they're offering. And then the Ohm's down $700. That's the best of them. The Bias is 1400. The Grenade's down 2700. But the Grenade has never been above retail. It's always been under. It just hasn't performed well, that ship.
Has that always been under? You're saying now, so it's always
now
been.
It's down a lot. It used to be down $200. It's always been like its retail's about 8200ish. But it's always been about 879. But now it's down to if you were to buy it right now, you could go out and buy one for 6597.
People just need capital, I guess. Like, it's a down market. They want to go to safety, sell their ships.
Yeah, I mean, we are super low on numbers, but I've literally just been woken up on the couch by the missus. So it is 9:30 Queensland time. I had a few beers this afternoon, had a bit of a celebration. I was actually watching the Star Atlas video from Rome, and we had Kristian on that. Christian's got his hand up. No, someone's invited him to the stage.
Yeah, I did watch that. That was a good episode by the Rome team.
I mean, I watch their video weekly, and it is awesome to see. It's always been something for Star Atlas. I think they put up a really high standard every week.
They do. Well, Whittaker's doesn't seem too happy with some of the stuff we'll probably be talking about later.
Yeah, did you see that? Did you see Yeah, his animation.
He was very diplomatic about it, well handled, but you can tell he's seething.
Did you see his inner barndog? He was struggling to control his inner barndog.
He controlled it better than you would have.
Oof.
Hey,
I think you would be a bit more vocal.
Barndog, I'll just do an everyone announcement.
Thank you, Metaverse. Whew.
No, I do like the Rome guys. I reckon they're not a bad bunch of fellas.
We are in. I've actually used Kristian. Kristian introduced me to one of the guys there, and eventually, at some stage, I think we'll come and either join them or them join us.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, like I look at them as guys, peers, someone that I look up to. It's very interesting. Yeah, six people weekly that talk about an industry and a game that I respect their opinion of, and it's really research on Star Atlas and stuff that makes me very interested every week to see.
Hey, before we start, the Don, Kristian Dragnell, and Funcracker, you guys are all here. I thought I wanted to float an idea to you and the Rome Guild about having a monthly State of the DAC meeting with all the top guild leaders, similar to what they do, like what Rome does in their YouTube channel now, like what you went to recently, Kristian. I think it might be cool to spur like everyone getting together once a month to talk about, the DACs themselves and like game progression.
Hey guys. My apology, I woke up like 30 minutes ago. Barndog, we had a short conversation before this. But thank you for having me here. I see that Don is also here. I just want to say hi and thank you for having me.
Kristian, I just woke up 30 minutes ago too.
Yeah, man, everybody's still sleeping. I feel it in everybody's voice.
The worst thing is it's like it's a prime time for Queensland, Australia, Eastern Australia, and I've literally just woken up. The missus woke me up on the couch. I fell asleep watching Gladiator tonight, and this is my prime time. I feel really bad. We've only got a few people on stage, but Metaverse, what are you thinking? they do such an awesome job of getting people in Rome. You're thinking trying to get a monthly thing here on Grape?
Yeah, I don't know specifically where it would be and who would host it, but it would seem Grape would be like a neutral ground that all the guilds can come to. So not everyone goes to Rome, not everyone comes to AEP or comes to like IA. Yeah, so like I don't know. I just had an idea. It might be really good to have a monthly update for all the decks.
That would be pretty good. I agree that we need some kind of a middle ground where we can meet up. For example, we are doing something similar with the Interstellar Alliance and the United Metaverse organizations that we are building. We are having meeting every Saturday in during the weekends. So actually today we also have TheDonKane. We have a Warriors meeting today, I think.
Oh, nice.
We're checking some legal stuff when it comes to our organization, making sure that everything is properly structured and nobody's doing something that may be problematic in some jurisdictions around the world, making sure that everything is regulatory, proper by the law and everything else.
Yeah, exactly. We're really making sure, especially because there's going to be a lot of capital flowing through, all of our DACs. We want to make sure that all of us are, protected from liability and anything that could potentially come up. Because, I hear a lot of allusions to, other games like EVE Online and Elite Dangerous and all these big MMORPGs, but it's hard to consider Star Atlas a game. It's more so a gamified, digital universe, right? And with millions and potentially billions of dollars of capital flowing through it one day, these DACs are going to have to be structured within, jurisdictional prudence where they operate out of. So I think that's something it's a really big concern that I guess we are working through right now to make sure that that we don't get hit with lawsuits before the game even starts, right?
So in a sense, you guys are already doing this little meeting I'm talking about, like already having meetings between yourselves and other guilds to like get together and say, hey guys, this is like the standard of how we're doing stuff so no one gets wrecked. This is the kind of stuff it would be interesting for like everyone to come to every month and say, okay, this is what's actually happening. And Funcracker just mentioned in the meetings, in the live channel questions, it would be like a panel, state of DAC leaders and state of SA. I think it'd be cool.
Definitely. I believe that, and I think that everything that is for the growth for the community is overall good thing. So it doesn't matter who is doing it or how we are doing it, as long as we are gathering and we are making some content between each other and just making sure that we have we are hearing each other's voices, all right, just to make sure that everybody can contact with the rest of the people for whatever reason. I think it's overall very well, especially for the building of the community, for the growth.
Yeah, I totally agree, and especially if Star Atlas becomes like a worldwide game.
Oh, I don't really have even a single doubt in my mind that all of those metaverses will be really big in the future. But here is the thing, we need to build them, and building the community and everything around it is also a huge part in it. For example, if we don't have that much people and all of the organizations that we currently created in the past 9 months, I don't really think that much people and investors will be putting their eyesight on the entire project, right? Because they see that there is huge interest, there is people building separately of it, of the developers that are working on Star Atlas, so people are noticing, and this is the most important thing, that we are making those people notice. Because people follow the money, after all, so if there is a lot more investors, there will be a lot more players, a lot more people who are existing in this parallel world that we're building.
I mean, there's absolute people will notice Star Atlas is the #1 game for Solana. There's no doubt about it. even regardless of the issues they have week in, week out. But this is, I love, I mean, here we are week in, week out. The game has started and the game isn't being played yet. It's really interesting. Star Atlas has coined a lot of phrases. Week in, week out, we talk about it, we think about it. They've got a coin that went 1,000 times. They've got ships that have been live for ages. They did probably the best NFTs, I believe. This is a very personal situation. I think their NFTs were the best that we've seen in Solana.
Hold on. I just recently learned they're not actually NFTs.
No, they're not. That's the very funny thing. They're not
Yeah,
actually proper NFTs.
I don't know why I didn't realize it early on, but my guild told me about it, and I was like, "Oh wait, you're right. They're not actually NFTs. They're just
They're
FTs."
expensive JPEGs.
And that's the thing is that every week, like every single week, we look at NFT gaming, we look at blockchain gaming, Solana. We are super early. Like there's no doubt we can say that how early we are in gaming and things. And Star Atlas has got so much money in it now that you would have to think that something eventually has to happen. And we definitely want to touch on the problems that they had last week. Mine isn't as bad as about the $3 million raise to a private guild. Funnily enough, I look a little bit differently at the issues we saw this week. So
I think it's unfair. This shouldn't be allowed because you got two other guild leaders here that would have loved them options. Now a lot of people couldn't probably pony up to 3 mil, but it should be fair across the board. If they get offered it, everyone should be offered it. If you can't afford it, too bad, but at least they're offered it.
Yeah, when it comes to the last weekend situation, I don't really see it as like that important, to be honest.
I before we get into that, Kristian, like people need to make sure that they go and look at the events. So that's the most important thing, is we go and actually look at what happened in the last week. They raised $3 million in a sub guild, but my opinion on this is going to be long. I guess it's not a very simple situation. Like they've raised $3 million on a side guild in a back channel progress, but it's difficult because I think they've raised money really when they didn't need to. Like Star Atlas has raised $70-80 million. Aurora raised $108 million in 3 days. So money can be made in gaming. Money can be made in blockchain gaming and Solana gaming. It is rife. Like people want to spend money. People want to put their money in, and I'm one of those. Like I'm deep on NFTs for Solana. I'm deep in NFTs for Star Atlas. But out of the events in the last week I saw, and we'll touch on the $3 million. We'll touch on the backyard talking, but the bigger issue I personally believe was the fact that they listed 4 ships. They listed for another part of the GAO, and then 2 days after they listed those ships, they said there's going to be a 4-week hiatus. So, they've gone and listed all of these ships, and then 2 days later said to people, well, hang on, there's going to be a 4-week delay. And I think people are concentrating on issues that aren't important, honestly. The $3 million to a side guild should be talked about because it talks about fair play, and I think they've taken fair play out of the whole situation. But
sure.
Star Atlas is a superstar for Solana, but they've done lots of bad things. They've done lots of great things and lots of good things. We look at it, we love it. We're here, we're playing the game without playing the game. But
what's
I'd
the
like
great
to.
thing they've done, really? Explain that. They've done nothing. They don't fuck all. They don't sell stuff, lie to us, and do shady shit. They don't even part of the game,
guys,
the community.
I like.
Just a second. I see that. I personally think that the majority of the people don't really understand much about the deal that happened with the coup. I don't really think that they gathered funds from all of their members, like a DAO type of fundraise or something like this. I just want to clarify this. I think it was a private deal between the creator of their organization with the team, and I want to point out that he's holding all the posters, the person that made the deal, which is giving them some kind of a privilege to make those private deals. And of course, they already have this connection with the Star Atlas team that they managed to buy all the posters before anybody else, pretty much, like early investors. I don't really think that it was something like a full play against anyone. Like, really, it was just a private deal between two companies in a way.
But
right? And this is happening like in normal companies, normal businesses, especially new startups. This is very normal. So don't really see it as a full play. Everybody can do it. I can make a call with them and say, okay, I have this amount of money and I want to do the same. And everybody's capable of doing the same. They're just not doing it because they don't have the money. Pretty much. This is it. This is the only reason.
Kristian, I love how zen. I love how level-headed you are, and it was very interesting seeing you many weeks ago. You were very much about be calm, don't rush into it, take your time purchasing Star Atlas NFTs. Don't rush. You've been level-headed the whole time. You suggested to people to take their time, but the problem with backyard deals is that it takes it away from people. It shouldn't matter. I don't know. Like going deep into the current $3 million sidelined event it takes it off the table. It takes it away from being open in the public eye. They've bought these assets at MRSP. Is that the term, metaverse?
Yeah, that's right. MSRP.
MSRP. So they've gotten these ships and these items at an advantage to the rest of us. So I personally bought a hero at 4,169, I think it was. The MSRP for that is 3,569. I bought a whole heap of posters. I'm a very small person that like an individual player, but I bought into this game at certain prices along the way. And we're talking about a team that's now being a guild, and they've bought $3 million of ships, and we're talking, I think it was 11 or so capital ships.
12 commanders.
Yeah, they've bought these ships away from the main auction. It just feels really fucking dodgy. Like you can't not feel that a team that has said we're here for the people, stick it to the man. They've done backyard.
Being the man.
Yeah, they are now the man, and it's very hard. Like I don't want to call for blood. I absolutely love what Star Atlas are building. Look at my my avatar in game. I've changed my name. I've set up a weekly event based around talking about Star Atlas as well. As it's really hard to see a team and a game that you look up for go and organise backyard deals, because that's what it is. Like they raised $3 million from this particular event, which is going to cost them more in sentiment from the crowd and from the community. I think they need to have this negative impact to be able to realise, well, holy fuck, we made a mistake. But then they also need to act on that mistake.
Yeah, I think the biggest issue. Yeah, I think the biggest issue was the lack of clarity around this type of deal and how you can make them. For example, I knew how I can make this one, but for example, the majority of the organization or people, individuals had no idea what is going on, right? And I just want to, put everything in perspective, okay? For example, 20% of our Polis Atlas are held by priori investors, early investors. Does anybody question any of this? Like, who is holding those tokens? Who have them? Who have the, this period of time that they need to wait before they make any resales or anything else? Like, I'm talking with those people nearly on daily basis, and I know that this is companies with hundreds of millions of dollars in a portfolio, just ready to come in whatever investment they want to put their money in. And this is one of the reasons that I'm not really putting too much attention on exactly those 3 millions, because I know very well that there is deals being done from the early months. For example, FTX, all of those big backers, nobody's talking about this, and this is a big problem because, in a way we are just, pointing fingers at one organization who didn't really do much,
No,
like this is not that much.
the,
I want just everybody to be able to understand the bigger picture that is happening behind the scene. Understand that the Staratos team is trying to be power to the people and whatever, but this metaverse need to be built and investors need to make their positions. This is just how business works. This is just how everything is being built. You need to raise this capital if you don't have it on your own.
But this is the thing, though, is that FTX, you've got VC investors in every game. Any game you've spoken about, as soon as they get VC investors, they stop, they think, because those VC investors are going to offer millions and millions of dollars of money and capital. But this is now talking about how fair play has been taken off the table because they're buying ships at MSRP, actual proper MSRP. Before they even hit the marketplaces. It feels a lot different for this particular one because it was highlighted to us and brought out to the population and the public, like they've gotten all of these capital ships and commander ships that we've all had to fight and scramble for.
So I kind of get the sentiment that's being going around. So some people are feeling very disenfranchised by this because it's supposed to be the blockchain. It's supposed to be a bit more fair. We want to hold them with a higher accountability than traditional business practices. But yes, this is done in general around. And I agree with Kristian to say this is done. We don't know it, but we're going crazy over this one company that did it. Even though previously we already know that YGG has done the same deal, but apparently we celebrate YGG getting inside, but this other guild we don't really, want them.
This is the thing, I know about few other guilds, that are big organizations that also have a huge amount of assets, and they never been public about it, They never go to Twitter and make a post or whatever, They just don't care about those things whatsoever, They're just waiting in the site and they're taking their time, and when there is, the right time for them to announce, they will. And I just don't want people to overreact now, because I know very well that in the future it will be even more obvious that, in my personal perspective, anybody who is thinking about, this wet dream utopia where, everything is equal, everything is, fair, I don't really think that this is possible, when money from corrupted world are involved.
But this is what Star Atlas is showing us right now, is that you can't have a utopia, and they're talking about power to the people. They're telling us right now that's not the case. You cannot have a utopia because
I don't really think that they understand what they're saying, when they say power to the people or anything else.
I want to get
my personal opinion. Yeah, this is just a catchphrase, people.
I want to get the DonKane's opinion on this. I want to see, Mr. Don, we have people that are against this. That we have people that are saying this is normal and this is done. I want to get your opinion. What do you think? What's your guild's feeling about this?
Yeah, so the move itself is a bit confusing to me, right? And I think Barndog highlighted, when he said that Star Atlas has already had, $70-80 million of fundraising, it was, to me, it didn't really make sense why they would do a deal like that. And I think, from my perspective at least, and here, let me give you, some philosophy about our guild in particular. We're studious observers and we're studious researchers, right? We take our time and we like to observe everything that's going on, and to me it didn't make too much sense. Maybe because here's what I see, right? What I see is a guild, and I don't put the blame on the club, right? Because there are other like other deals that have happened, right? And if we were offered that same deal, which clearly we are, if we had the capital to do that, but essentially what's happening is the release of the ships are being front ran, right? Kind of like a large hedge fund, a large quantitative hedge fund would front run, the order book of Fidelity or Robinhood or any of these other exchanges. I think it.
And of course,
It
this
doesn't.
has detriments through sentiment, but it also has benefits because it helps spur on the metaverse. It helps bring the investors in.
So I see, right. So I see, the con is the front running issue, right? The pro is, we got a Bloomberg article that helps all guilds, right? So I'm under this let's say opinion, right? But I think this is going to come true in the next coming years and maybe even coming months. There's going to be a VC and hedge fund gold rush for guilds. I think the most attractive part of the metaverse is going to be two things. It's going to be the governance tokens of these metaverses, right? So like Polis, AXS for Axie Infinity, and it's also going to be guilds. And I think that guilds are going to be actually even more attractive due to the high APR returns of the assets within the metaverse, right? I think that Banana DAO in particular, the way that they're structuring, is essentially a C corp that's paying out dividends to their investors, right? And I think that that's going to be a really, really we're going to see that structuring pop up a lot more over the metaverse and over these guilds in particular. And so that I'm really, really excited about. But like I said, to reiterate, the con, right, is that front running of the order book of the ships that haven't left, but also the pro is we got a Bloomberg article on guilds, right? So now we're in mainstream media attention, and so it's a complex situation, and there's a lot of variables involved that I personally don't understand. I've read everything that I can on the situation. I'm still a bit confused, but I get points from both sides.
Yeah, so this is similar to what Wagner wrote in his little explanation about it, saying literally the floor has risen because this is public publicity for us. Our NFTs are worth slightly more now because people in Bloomberg or wherever newspaper have seen this now.
I agree with this. Overall, our investors, all the big VCs that are coming in and they're buying after us assets, I think they're just elevating the value of the entire metaverse and all of our prior investments, right? For example, in the future, someone may come and say, okay, I want to invest $100 million and I'll buy all kinds of different assets, tokens, whatever. I'll invest in guilds. This is just, growing the space, growing the communities, growing the value of the assets that are in the metaverse. And I overall think that maybe in a year or two we're going to look at this time and we'll be like, yeah, maybe if we made a big deal out of this type of investments, maybe we were going to in a way discourage future investors of putting their money into this metaverse because we are making too much big deal about $3 million or whatever. This is just one of the possibilities for the future. I just want to just get a little bit more clarity from the Staratos team about those deals. I think this is what is being missed.
So have they done anything in the last week? So have they actually given us that clarity in the last 6 days?
I don't really think that there was some nice announcement about this. Like, yes, this is what we're doing. You can do it in this way. No explanation. Like,
so
no
5 or 6 days now, they've just let us stew on this information.
But Wagner did release that little statement, didn't he? Explaining what this happened, all this sort of stuff. Did anyone get to read that? I think most of you did.
No, I haven't seen it. Yeah, I haven't seen it. That's why I was asking the question. it's for me personally, when I want to play a game, and I've had a very big stance against Aurora, which should be the second biggest game in Solana, and I'm not proud. I don't like how they launched, and that's affected my personal opinion on the game. And I think Star Atlas has hurt their brand with what they've done over the last week, not just from this $3 million backyard deal, but I don't like how they launched 4 new ships and then 2 days later said to people, well, hang on, we're going to delay the mini game earning assets by 4 weeks. They should have told people, hang on, we're not sure on the dates, we're going to be delaying it 4 weeks, but we are launching 4 new ships. Companies need to raise funds. Companies need to raise for production, for onboarding. They want up to 400 staff. That costs money. I'm absolutely in line with the fact that 400 people need to be paid. You can't be fucking realistic about any game if you can't think. Those people need to be paid. But right. you shouldn't be doing a ship asset sale and then 2 days later say, well, hang on, we've lied about the 19th of November. And it is a downright a failing to tell people this information. Well, hang on.
They knew this was coming. They should have told us up front.
And this is the biggest problem about Star Atlas I've found has been the misinformation along the line.
Yeah,
I absolutely love what they are doing. I've invested in it. I bought a shitload of early posters. You know, like it's crypto. It's a chance. It's a risk. But what they are bringing, I bought on Wagner. I bought on the fact that they've done such great interviews. Their vision, power to the people. But now we hear this week, not just one, but 2 big bits of information that, number one, to me, the biggest part of the information of the week was the fact that they said, well, hang on, we're delaying the game 4 weeks. But they've done this 2 days after announcing 4 ships to be sold. And you know, like we have one of our team spend $10,000 on a ship and then be told, oh no, but we're delaying that 4 weeks. He wouldn't have bought the ship, would he? You know, like instead they could have announced that they would delay it and give people this information. I like to think back to when we had, what was the big fighter ship, the ship that was $9,900?
No, it doesn't matter, you know, overall. Yeah, sorry, DonKane. Just want to say that they're changing a lot of things, you know. This is what is it as a fact, you know. They're delaying a lot of things. They didn't say it before the sale. This is just, you know,
but we're being misinformed, Kristian. This is the thing, is that they are misinforming us. They're not giving us the information at hand, which is the big part, like fair play. And Star Atlas have taken away fair play from us in the last week. I feel that's super important. Like, blockchain gaming is meant to be more about being on the open market, being available, everybody has the same chances, but they've taken that away by saying, well, if you message us because you've got $3 million to spend, we're going to give you a better deal. Because that's what the team, and is it the club? I don't actually know the guild. The guild's name is irrelevant. Is the fact that they've gone and done a back deal with people that now have a better price at entry into the game. They've got better advantages. Fair play has been taken away from Star Atlas, and this is a game that has frontline Solana as given us a boom and a price increase and opened up so many imaginations, and that they took it away from us in one foul swoop. And people shouldn't be risking their long-term opinions on it. People should be stopping and thinking. And I super appreciate the fact that we've got guilds out there like Rome that got Prometheus, got yourself, Kristian, on channel, and sit down and spend those hours in a week and actually discuss that and have some. It's not comfortable. Nobody wants to say, well, hang on, this is a game we really appreciate, yet they've really fucked up. Nobody wants to have those conversations. We all want to make money in this space, but I look forward to a metaverse that I can fly a ship with my friends and have an equal opportunity. But it looks this week they really took a step backwards rather than forwards.
See, my issue, I don't really care about the ships getting sold off market. It happens all the time. Gold mining, we sell our gold off market, which we call hedging. Then we sell the rest on the open market, which was our profit gouging. So we'll take the gamble. We'll sell gold a little bit cheaper to you because you're going to buy it and pay for our operational costs for the year. And then we'll sell the rest of the market. If the gold price goes up, we win. If it goes down, we've already covered our costs with hedging. So I'm not too pissed off about that. What I'm pissed off about mainly is 2 days after having a ship sale, then announcing bad news when that would have affected ship sale and pricing, which it has. They should have told us first because he always craps on, or Swagner, which his real name should be Swindler now. And he should be called. He should have said, right, guys, game's going to get delayed. We're still going to do the ship sales, just so we're being transparent, as we always bang on every town hall. Transparency to people.
Guys.
You have to be transparent.
I'm hearing a lot. Yeah, there is frustrating. I'm hearing a lot of hate, but this is the risk you take being in crypto, being in an early stage project where anything can change at any time.
Okay.
This is the part of the risk that you take when you bought these FTs.
Why do we have to sit on his cock and blow his dick every time? Oh, I love every time you channel. I love what you're doing, Michael. You're doing great things. You're curing cancer, Michael. Doing this. You're doing fuck all. Show us something.
It's not, without going on about, getting prolific into it, is he lost his transparency this week. That was a big one. Like, crypto and risk is inherent. Absolutely, we're investing in these protocols and these blockchains and these things, but they wouldn't have known. It wouldn't have been an overnight revelation that they were going to be 4 weeks delayed. Yet they've launched 4 ships. They've done the sale, and then 2 days after that sale, they've said, well, hang on, we're delaying it 4 weeks on our minigame. And that, to me, is misinformation on the crowd. We looked at their sale with one of their very first GAO sales, where the Thripid sold for $9,900 US, and then it was selling secondhand for over $20,000. People got ripped off on misinformation in this particular situation. It was super, super hurtful for some of those people. But that's information that they then, 2 days later said, well, hang on, we're going to have more than one GAO sales. We're going to be releasing more ships. This is the MSRP, and they then tried to protect the people afterwards. Like, you can't do it one way and then not the other. Like, you've got to give the people. You can't misinform the people. You can't give lack of information. It's hard seeing people invest money in a game and resent the fact that they've put that money in. Do you not get that, Metaverse?
No, I definitely get it, but I also think we need to temper our expectations.
Mm-hmm.
True.
I think staying just like Barndog say, I just saw enough, and I think that there was a lot of mistakes already being done. So I don't really have that much. I have great expectations on the long term, but on the short term, I'm, just bearish on the token, for example, bearish on the timelines. We're seeing the delays. That's why I'm saying to everybody to be aware what they're buying. Now we're seeing that some of the ships drop it by 30% or something like this. Now I knew that this is in the realm of possibilities. I just wanted to make sure that, I'm personally focusing more on the building around the project, around the, to make sure that the metaverse comes out one day. But when it comes to all of those deals and projects deals that are happening, I already see the lack of quality and the big businesses coming in behind. And the only thing that we can do is, I guess, acknowledge the issue that we are facing and make sure how we can counteract as a community together, right? Because individually, we're not going to be able to do absolutely anything about this.
Yeah.
But if we work together, we can just prevent some of the things that are happening, but we cannot fix them ourselves. This is the thing that we need to acknowledge. For example, we understand that there was, those deals and just the lack of quality, delays and whatever. We need to think, how we can solve it. And here is the thing: we don't really have anything on the table when it comes to solving anything, right? We cannot really do much.
How do we solve this, Kristian? So, we can get all disheartened, we can get upset. So what is the solution right here? How do we actually solve the fact they've done it against? There's no DAO votes on these backyard deals. So how do we actually solve this problem later on going forward?
Well,
can we actually solve this?
I think I don't even know if it's a situation regarding solving. Here's what I'll say is that guilds are going to go where the opportunity is best for them, right? So, all of these guilds that have started and claim to be Star Atlas guilds, if Star Atlas doesn't come through on the promises that they've made to the community, the guilds are going to go to the metaverse that is more trustworthy and where they can make the money, right? I think that this is kind of the nature of decentralization and open source and blockchain, right? Is that you go where the opportunity is. So I don't think that I think it's good that we're having these conversations and we're we're trying to keep essentially keep this organization Star Atlas humbled, right? Honest and open. But yeah, accountable, exactly. But at the end of the day, it's not our responsibility to make them, more trustworthy. At the end of the day, we're going to go with whoever's more trustworthy, right? There's going to be another competitor. That's the nature of this space. So.
Yeah. In the end of the day, the open market will decide, where this project is going, and I'm pretty sure that the communities here will do the same. For example, my bet is on this metaverse, on the Star Atlas metaverse, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of people are already heavily invested, so they are not going anywhere anytime soon. So what we can just do is just as a community, stay together, make sure that we are watching what is happening. Just like you're saying, Barndog, try to keep them accountable in a way. Right, as much as we possibly can as third parties, right? Because this is what we are. We are not in the development team or anything else. This is it pretty much.
Yeah, I think it also reiterates the point that we're just so incredibly early. Like this idea of a metaverse, I'd never even heard of it till like 4 months ago. And so the development landscape and all of these issues that are going on, it's like. I'm not saying that, I'm not trying to get up here on the stage and excuse my French, suck off Star Atlas. But at the same time, I also give them the benefit of the doubt of being a company that started less than a year ago. So, there's so much that goes to it. But at the end of the day, right, if Star Atlas continues, to do things like this that lose the community's trust, we're going to go somewhere else.
Right. This is where it comes down to, though, is that you can make money in gaming. So Aurora raised more money than Star Atlas in 3 days, and there are ways to raise money in gaming, but you can do it at a stage which isn't costing your people's content and happiness. Like they took away fair players. As far as I'm concerned, by doing backyard deals and selling these ships at these prices, they took away fair play from the Star Atlas metaverse. They gave these people ships at entry prices, and if you even look at it, goes into a couple of other points I had, is that these big guilds are buying into a lot of games at the moment that are coming out in Solana, and I think it's problematic because it's taking away the chances from other people to enter these guilds in games and have fair access to this. It's taking it away. I don't know. I look at a lot of the games. Look at Genopets. YGG bought into Genopets, and they're getting early access to their customers and their scholars above. And this is what Star Atlas has done, because it's all based off MSRP. Your ship is going to earn a certain amount on the ship missions, which might be for the first 6 to 9 months, where you're getting based on a percentage of what your MSRP was. And if they're getting these ships at 30% less sale price, then they're in an advantage immediately. And
yeah, but who'd say that they bought them cheaper? From what I know, it's the same price. They just bought it early.
But buying off
the
auction house, you didn't. So I bought a Hero, and it cost me $4,190. And that was because it was the second wave. It wasn't the first wave, and like the first wave sold out. So I had to compete versus everybody else that clicked on that button at the start, and that's what I got my ship at.
Whereas they also didn't have to get up at 3 a.m. in the morning.
It's the same issue as large hedge funds front running your orders on trades in the stock market, right? So if you buy a share of, I don't know, name the company. If you buy a share of Amazon or Microsoft, there's going to be a quantitative hedge fund that gets a fraction. And granted, the stock exchange is much more liquid, and it's a bad example, but
that is a good example, because VC funds get coins and tokens in everything at cents to a dollar. So it's a super good example, and that's what's happened here. And it's just highlighted because it's hit mainstream news this week. But, you know, we expected more from Star Atlas, and, you know, when Aurore's gone and raised more money in 3 days than Star Atlas has done since April, it's hard to see them selling the public's trust in you know, $1-3 million sale. That's how I look at it. They lost a whole lot of goodwill from the community, and even from me personally, in $1-3 million sale, whereas there would have been much better ways for them to raise that money, and I think they really backwards their chance here.
Yeah. I think that they were the entire deal was a little bit not even needed. Like, if they wanted to make it as fair as possible, what I was going to do was just leave the, you know, everything on the order books. You know, whoever is the first order is buying, and everyone after him is buying the rest, right? And I think that from my personal view, they were making similar deals before, so that's why they didn't really pay too much attention, like how important that is. And probably that was their mistake. They are a very new team overall. You know, I don't really give them too much credit on their experience when it comes, because they're a really early company. They were pushing too much, specifically on the sales side, and how they can raise funds and anything else when it comes to money raising. And I think that this was what played them the biggest backhand, let's say it like this. Like, a lot of hype, they generated a lot of hype, and now this hype is like going down and down, and now every single small mistake is being watched very much more carefully, and is being judged a lot more, right?
Yeah, definitely agree with that. That they've had the hype early. They've created Solana pumps, and you can't be naive and don't think that Star Atlas didn't cause a pump for Solana in general. It's been super cool, but I guess it's just been hard for. I held Star Atlas as the top game and the top team, and this kind of brought them down. Well, it made me feel like they took away fair play from the whole metaverse, and that hurts. That hurts me personally, because when I judge a team in a game, I get invested. I really back that team, and I feel that they took that trust away from me, from everybody else, and I think it's going to take them a little bit to earn that back. And can they really earn that back? I'm not 100% on that, because they've now said that this is the game. You can come and talk to us on the background, and we can organise a better deal for you where you're buying ships at a cost price.
Yeah, I think this will be problematic if it continues in the future, but I just don't really see, you know, how we can prevent it.
Like, hopefully what we're doing right now, Kristian, is preventing it. You know, like, the people need to be able to talk openly in spaces. This is decentralized gaming. This should be people saying, well, hang on, you fucked up, and you guys need to fix how you're assessing it. And there's no DAC at the moment. There's no actual voting, DAO voting for this to be accepted or approved or denied. So hopefully they look at this and go, well, hang on, these are our biggest supporters, the community, the teams that are building. And if we're losing their faith and the trust, then we need to reassess how we're doing this.
Yeah, but, you know, let's see it from this perspective. Like, okay, when we have the DAO, that we can vote in this metaverse, and probably to come around 9th of December or something like this, and we decide to make this proposal, for example, on you know, the Star Atlas team to not sell ships on the back end, right? So, is in my personal perspective, you know, how I'm looking at it, it's like we're making a hostile takeover on early company. This is how it looks. Like, the community is making a hostile takeover on company, which is creating a product and is trying to sell it to early investors, right? So this may become really, really complicated on the long term. And I do understand that this is normally how they want to work in the future, but I think that this early decentralization on those decisions is really, it might be extremely damaging in the long run. This is what we need to think. Are our actions going to be more of damaging on the grander scale of the metaverse, or are they going to help? Are we going to limit the company ability to sell their assets to bigger investors in the future? No. Is this going to harm the the progress of this metaverse? I know it might be complicated. Anybody has any idea about this?
Like if they sell stuff on the side, because when you buy big Bitcoin buyers come along, they don't buy off the open market, they buy off closed door buyers, So, but what's the state? Some new guild like Big Dicks Anonymous come along, go, Swags, going to give you $10 million. Want to buy all these ships that you've already released and not said you're not going to make anymore. What's to stop them not just minting a few more ships and giving them to them with this lack of transparency? That's the issue.
Mm-hmm. I think that I highly doubt that they will make such a like a double-edged sword move on themselves. But for sure they have the chance. But I think that this is really, really small chance because they will not going to risk the entire project. Now we need to consider how damaging this may be in the future. So most likely they will not going to allow this to happen, but they will give this type of back-end deals to different communities or investors when it comes to new ships who are still not issued, right? Still not created.
Yeah,
I don't think that they will make it for the early versions.
Yeah, I get the feeling that after this kind of incident here, they might think twice or at least restrict it to make it a bit tighter. But to answer what you were saying before, what do we think about how we should think about if we're damaging ourselves early on by either voting for this if we come to it or not? And I kind of agree with you there, because at the end of the day, we want our assets only become more valuable, just like Bitcoin, if more people come into this ecosystem.
Exactly.
So if let's say a new Big Dick Anonymous comes into Star Atlas and buys the largest NFT ever recorded on sale as a Titan ship, and it makes it onto worldwide news and it gets trending on news, gets trending on Twitter, which is actually more valuable for us? That guy buying the ship and we don't want him to buy it, or that it went mainstream and now we have 100,000 users coming into our ecosystem? Which one is more valuable? I think it's 100,000.
But I mean, it depends on what you're in the game for. This is where it comes down to a lot of it is, I mean, it's linked up to money and you are playing blockchain gaming. But the people that are hardcore gamers also want that level of... Look at Blizzard and World of Warcraft. We loved World of Warcraft the first 2 years. And then after that, they fucked up. They became money orientated. They really didn't listen to their people. And the game petered off. Me personally, I want a game I can support, trust and love. And they've hurt their brand this week big time. And it's hard.
Just on the Blizzard thing, you nailed it there. They stopped being a gaming company and started being a business, and it's really affected their games. Star Atlas are looking like trying to become a business, and they're forgetting about building the game. If the game's shit, people won't play it. People don't play it, it'll be worse shit.
This is extremely accurate that you're saying, Machine. I just think that nowadays I feel that the companies are starting to feel a lot of pressure,
Yeah.
And what I mean by this is, for example, all of those big companies are making their own metaverses, their own products, and I think that companies like the Staratus, they're trying to please the investors in a way, because if you lose these investments, the investors will go to your competition, right? So you're trying to make both ends meet.
Okay.
And it's really complicated to balance the two because, yes, we didn't really like this type of deals to be happening. We do understand them that they may be very important on the long term. However, we don't really know. We can just speculate on how damaging they can be at the moment or how good they may be in the future. And here is the thing. We already accepted that there will be a lot of money and we will not gonna have this fairness metaverse, but we'll have the fairness through the blockchain. So maybe what I'm looking at is yes, maybe the company that is building it is not perfect and they are making mistakes, but maybe we can fix it on the long term through the fairness, trustless blockchain system, which the game will be built on top. I
Yeah.
think we're using the bad side of the society, the money, as our advantage in the long term.
Yeah, I think this philosophy of this decentralized glide path, and what I mean by that is the company going from a centralized company and promising to transition to a completely decentralized autonomous organization. There's so many complexities and nuances involved, and it's hard. So Kristian, you said a term earlier that made a lot of sense, and as far as these DAOs go, like just the concept of a DAO in general it is so complex, and the term you used was hostile takeover, and that's the last thing we need for a company that's building out this grand metaverse that there's not even a playable game yet, right? The last thing we would need is a hostile takeover right now. And so the reason I bring this up is to say we need to think about how they're incentivized as they go through this decentralized glide path, right? So right now, as they are centralized, Kristian was saying they're more incentivized to like a normal corporation to make sure that their largest investors and shareholders are taken care of. And I think as they go down this decentralization glide path, that is when we really are going to be I guess making sure that they keep up to their promises, right? Because once it's completely decentralized, right, if we don't like the things that they're doing, then clearly we can vote them out and we can put someone else in. But it's so far away, right? I think we got to manage our expectations on what they're building versus what it is right now, and what it is right now is an NFT marketplace, right? It's not a metaverse yet, but they are building a metaverse.
It's like they are giving us the tools that we can build inside the metaverse. This is how I'm looking at it. For example, they are giving you a ship, which you can make, you can build VAL out of it, and you can build a metaverse later on with it, right? But they are just making the backend deals when it comes to, backend tech and, the investments and everything else.
The back end deals hurt this week, and that's been the biggest news, and it's hurt the whole brand, I think. So let's not dwell on it too much more. We spent an hour now. Like I like being able to have an open opinion, especially after I've had a beer or two. I'll talk my mind and be open about it. But let's go a little bit into why we've got you on stage this week, Kristian. It actually wasn't to whinge about Star Atlas and have an open opinion. It was to talk a little bit about Interstellar Alliance and even the Don. I invited the Don along. I put an open invitation to sub guilds of Interstellar Alliance. So let's have a little bit of. You've been around since the very beginning of Star Atlas, and you actually got me interested by the fact that you were one of the very first guilds to talk to people individually and spend time. You spent time with me. You spent time talking to my team. And let's have a bit of a look at what Interstellar's done over the last couple of months.
Oh, all right. Well, pretty much the most important things that we were working on is first the DAO that we had, which is now closed, and we're waiting to merge it in the Star Atlas Metaverse DAO. We are the first DAO that was built for the Star Atlas Metaverse separately from the developers. And the second one is our DEX that just the Coop actually created some of their members very nice YouTube tutorial for people who want to purchase assets from the decentralized DEX.
So
It's really useful.
the DEX had a little bit of trouble in the last 2 weeks, yeah?
Oh yeah, we got reported for a phishing scam or something like this.
Oops.
And it was kind of hilarious because it's decentralized, exchange. There is nothing much to it, right? So we needed to contact the necessary authorities to remove this issue, and they did. In the first day, we still have some issues with the link with Twitter, but overall everything's working very well, and I'm actually happy that those things are happening now and not when we have bigger volume on the exchange.
Yeah.
It may be a lot more complicated in the future, for sure. So it's really good that those things are happening now, so we can fix them and we can move forward. Also, we're continuing with our big endeavors with the inner dealings with the Interstellar Alliance, but also with our partners from the United Metaverse organizations. And I just want to make that clear. It's two different organizations, which are both structurally like Alliance. Just you can think about the Interstellar Alliance like the United States of America, like one huge country made out of different states in a union. And the United Metaverse organizations is more like independent organizations who decided to agree on certain rules and can create their own like level playing field. Because what we were trying to do is, yes, we may see some negativity and some issues with the metaverse, like which are not fair or they just doesn't work well, but maybe we can make it fair between each other, right? So how we can treat each other better. We created those metaverse accords, which will be continuing to update in the long run. For example, today we have this meeting with our lawyers and teams and different organization leaders and founders who are just going to give their opinions again on them. We just make sure that whatever we are agreeing is legally compliant in our jurisdictions, and we're not doing something to harm each other's interests in a way, right? So we need to make sure that we have all of this structured well.
For anyone that's watching at home on YouTube, where can they go to find these metaverse accords?
You can find a document of it. At the moment I'm on the laptop, so I don't really have it in front of me, but it's an open document which everybody can see. I think that we were linking it quite a bit in Twitter, in our Discord, pretty much our social medias, and yeah, I think it's easy to see who is signing that contract, because it's pretty much like a business agreement, just not a little bit more decentralized one, just like the United Nations have their own separate nations, but they're just under one umbrella, just working together. I don't really like the United Nations, neither NATO or the IMF, or how they are operating. I understand how they are working on, and I think they are extremely fucking corrupt. This is just my flat out
Amen, brother.
clean opinion on them. And yes, there is those talks that maybe what we are doing may also be corrupted, right? But let's just hope that the blockchain system is just helping us with this trustless way of working and doing business between each other. I just want to point out this is just pure experiment that we're doing, but we're making sure that it's as best as possible and as fair as possible between us. No, we're not trying to make it fair for everyone. We're just trying to make it fair for us. Everybody can join us, but we are not responsible of everybody else or the of the entire metaverse or anything like this. We understand that we're just individuals who are trying to make a difference, right? So
Yeah, I think it's our duty as the guilds within the UMO to spend a lot of time structuring it and in a way that we don't end up corrupt like the UN, right? Because that's the pathway, right? From starting like that's where it ends up as there's more, guilds that come in, and as there's more money, especially in the metaverse. That's where it will end up if we don't spend a lot of time and a lot of effort thinking about how we structure this, how we eventually decentralize this, and give it protocols that are basically trustless and don't allow for collusion, corruption, and abuse. And so I think that we're at this point we're having two meetings a week already on the UMO, and I think that we may even have to do more than that going forward, right? Just because it's going to be here's the biggest reason why we need it, in my opinion, is because there has been backlash about is this corrupt, is this going to be the next UN, but really the reason that we need it is because once big organizations like Facebook and Epic Games, these big capitalist corporations, once they come in, those are the enemies to the guilds, right? And so the guilds are I don't think there's a single guild out there that doesn't like their main axiom isn't blockchain maximalism, right? Because I think that's everyone who has started a guild at least has some understanding of or knowledge, if not like expert understanding and knowledge of blockchain. And I think that once these centralized corporations come in and they start playing, that is our competitor, right? Because they're gonna hoard Polis, and they're gonna hoard all of these governance tokens, and it's our duty to make sure that they don't turn the metaverse into just another game.
Isn't that what the big guilds are doing, but aren't the big guilds just as bad as the corporations?
The big guilds are the corporations, is the way I look at it. The big guilds at the moment, so YGG are getting into every game in Solana and getting early advantage on every game. That's the way I look at it, and you can see this with the one with the club. They're getting an early advantage, and this isn't against the club. This again is based on the fact that Star Atlas signed a deal that said they can get these ships. So many other games are seeing that they're getting in early, getting in bulk buying, and we're having now Facebook rebranding to Meta and saying they want to open it. What's stopping them signing deals with companies?
yeah, here is the thing. It doesn't stop anyone to do it. We are trying to make it as decentralized as possible and not to tell each other what we should do. Right?
So
we just want to make sure that whatever we're doing between each other is fair, right? And when those companies come, we're able to say, yes, you buy big amount of token and whatever, right? But at least when we work together, we'll have a say, when everybody's on the table, right? We're able to say and have some leverage over the metaverse because we are the first communities that are building, right? We're the ones that are cooperating, and we're like a wall, like who is trying to not push out, but at least to prevent some of the bad moves that can happen in the future.
And this is where, as teams, we need to be having opinions and having sayings. We start seeing a lot of people talking about donating money to people, donating money to environments, and there was a very big one on one of the games that I've followed recently that has said, we're going to allow the DAO to vote whether we donate money to green carbon credits or whether people take those money as profit. What 99% of the people are going to vote for is going to be taking profits. It's about people take the money. We need to make this shit accountable. We need to actually make a fucking change and say, well, okay, that's all well and good to talk about donating and making changes. Actually make the fucking change. Hold people accountable. Hold these companies accountable. And if we don't do that, then it's the real world, and we're just moving it from the real world into blockchain.
Where people think that these guilds and that if someone big, one of the big companies like Facebook, Google, whoever, decide that Star Atlas, they want to make it their game, they'll just buy it. They'll buy all the tokens they need to control the market. It's over. And that's kind of what the big guilds are doing at the moment. They're trying to get control of the game. The way I see it, all of them are the same.
This I think is an issue regarding DAO, like the infancy of the concept of a DAO, right? I think that there's not enough infrastructure, there's not enough research, there's not enough proof of concept of DAOs, because right now what a DAO is a form to allow this misnomer called free democracy, right? Free democratic voting, which at the end of the day, right, just like many of you have mentioned, really it's a misnomer because it's not a free democracy, right? They just buy up all the governance tokens and now they get to make all the decisions. So I think it's the root of, and I wouldn't even say problem, right? Because it's we're this concept of the DAO is in such infancy. I think that the what we have to do is we have to consider like the political theory and the political structuring of these DAOs. And now I'll be the first to say I am no expert in political theory and political structuring. That being said, one of my co-founders, Jimmy, his pseudonym is Jimmy Hoffa. Funny enough, we're a mafia themed organization. He is incredibly insightful on political theory and structuring, and he's actually writing out a political economy paper for kind of what we want to do, and it basically details a lot of the problems that we see in these traditional governance structures. Even transcending blockchain, right, or preceding blockchain, and I think he would be really good to have on one of these to maybe talk about, because he's got a lot of really good ideas, and a lot of like the issue is we need to innovate. We need to put a lot of effort and energy into innovating the foundation and the structuring of these DAOs, I think.
Yeah, I mean, to quote a Star Atlas saying, we're building this ship as we fly, and that's where the DAOs are at the moment. Is I know from the great perspective is we are learning a lot about DAOs and voting and doing it as we are going along that stage.
I wonder. So, Kristian, do you guys So you guys are kind of leading this initiative with the charter, and you also have this DEX coming along well. Do you have any other products coming out as well? And this is a question to the Don as well. So you guys are kind of I recognize you guys as like the librarians or like the observers, as you were saying. What kind of products are you looking to bring out more after this guild website that you control? So I guess, Kristian, you guys have any other tools coming out?
Yes, we are working on what I call a top secret NFT project, which I never seen anybody doing something like that. I cannot really say much about it at the current time, but the structure is pretty much we're going to be selling those NFTs to people who want to purchase it. The majority of the funds that we are gathering from those purchases, and there will be monthly mints, right? It will not be like one mint of like 10,000 or whatever, right? It will be of specific number for our specific reason, and we're going to sell them each month, every month. We'll be recording, just like you're saying, we're historians. This is one of the parts that we're considering, like how we can record information on those NFTs, and we want to store these NFTs, and how we will do this, it will be a little bit complicated for me to explain it, but and there is some stuff that I cannot really say at the moment. But what we are going to try to do is get nearly all of the funds that we are gathering from those NFT sales, invest them in the Star Atlas metaverse, then 50% of the funds that we are gathering from mining, like a profit, we'll be reinvesting in the metaverse, and with 50% of the other profits that we're making, we'll be buying back those NFTs and we'll be storing them ourselves. In a way, it will be like a closed loop of investments, reinvestments, buybacks, and just keep on growing this huge amount of like a library or a gallery full of those NFTs and all kinds of different information recorded on them.
Yeah, interesting. So it's like a perpetual cycle of, capital coming in and then using that capital to generate more capital, use that capital to buy the previous capital. So yeah, it's a whole perpetual system you're thinking of. And I haven't thought of a guild so far that's kind of been releasing like NFTs to fund extra stuff like in the same way you're talking about. And
Yes,
what about... yeah, sorry, go.
We were just trying to create a, good way, not probably the best, but for sure it's a good way to just create a constant inflow of investments in the Star Atlas metaverse and constant outflow. But the investments are always more than the money that are going out, right? So it was a way to create this constant stream of income for the Star Atlas metaverse, so we can keep on working on the infrastructure that we are planning to create. One of our biggest ideas is to create the Interstellar Stargate network, and the majority of our partners are highly interested in this because it will be pretty much like transportation highway of a metaverse. And
that's something you talked about a lot. One of your first interviews with Star Atlas. We haven't really heard too much of that in the last 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, I consider it as the most important thing in the metaverse. I know very well. I'm coming from a background of this type of underlying protocols. I cannot really say much, but for example, I'm highly interested in the shipping container protocols that are allowing the world trade to function, even though at the moment it's in complete shambles. But
did you buy one of those BYOS ships, Kristian?
No. I'm focusing more on different assets.
The freighter. It sounds like you're one of these mainstreams. You've been in the shipping controls of people.
I think like if you were to buy a crypto, it'd probably be like VeChain for supply and infrastructure, that sort of thing.
That's actually a pretty good idea, and I'm not gonna confirm if I was thinking about something like this.
I got you.
But the overall idea is that I understand that we need efficiency in the metaverse, just like we have one in our world. Without this efficiency, the world is just going in hyperinflation, just like what we're seeing at the moment. We have this broken supply chains and whatever, and my humble opinion, this is man-made disaster, and it would be extremely bad for the general population. And nobody's talking about this. Everybody's just blaming each other with the governments, but just by following the money, you know who is doing it.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't really think that we'll be able to have proper efficient mining operations or anything like efficient commercial trade in a metaverse type of environment, which is so close to the real world that we are having. So we need to have all those highways in place. We need transportation infrastructure. One of our affiliates, the Book Guild organization, is going to focus completely on this. They are under the Interstellar Alliance umbrella, and pretty much they will be educating pilots on just formations, on how we will be conducting our trades between factions and pretty much security teams. It's a huge endeavor, and there is a lot of guilds involved. It's not only one or two. Everybody's involved who in the United Metaverse organization in one way or another. And we think that this is the most important thing, just to have efficient way of conducting our metaverse businesses, right? Because if we have this inefficiency, for example, spending more fuel or spending more resources, doesn't matter what kinds of it, that will be making less profits for anyone involved, and it will create more fat in the system. That is called, for example, I don't know if anyone knows about the Nostro Vostro accounts, that are the banking accounts that they are using to send transactions between each other. This is just trapped liquidity, which is like $30 trillion or something like this at the moment. And one of the reasons that banks cannot stop printing money, because if they stop, the entire system is just collapsing. And I really think that similar issues can be avoided if proper infrastructure is built in the early beginning. And this is one of the reasons that I was huge advocate for the guild recruitment channel to be created, because I knew very well that when you're building an underlying protocol, normally it's becoming a global protocol because there's multiple parties agreeing to use this protocol. Like, for example, the internet protocol is a very good example. It's the basic IP, which our nations are using. But, for example, China, North Korea, they are not using it. And this all of a sudden creating like inefficiency, which in the metaverse for sure will happen. Some organizations will not gonna agree with us, and maybe they'll create something on their own. That's fine, but I think that the biggest efficiency will be created by as many parties working together as possible. I just see it as essential for this Cambrian explosion of digital life that we can create in the future, because pretty much we do not really know at the moment the extent of the technologies. For example, there is this thing called when the humanity consciousness reach a godhood, right? What we need to reach, what level in order to reach a godhood? Well,
The
normally it's
singularity.
great. Yes, exactly. What happens when the singularity comes into effect? Can we create digital life in those metaverses that we are working on at the moment? Maybe not now, but in 10 years, 20 years, maybe this is too far-fetched, because I already know that all of those systems are being built and nobody's really talking about quantum computing and stuff like this. People are thinking that you're conspiracy theorists or something like this, but those technologies are already in business. From what I personally know, the three-letter agencies that I don't really like to talk about are already having those systems in place, but just the world is kind of not ready for this type of information, or just the tool to be used, because we are not really competent enough how to use it safely, in safety manner. We most likely going to create another catastrophe rather than fixing anything. So I really think that when technology is evolving, like the Unreal Engine 5 we are using at the moment for the Star Ocean metaverse, which is considered the best. But what happens in 5 years when we have Unreal Engine 6? This is something also that people need to consider. All of those different protocols will be used to just expand those metaverses over a long period of time. And I'm here for the long run. I don't really know how people are, making their plans. This is why I'm not really shocked about different business deals or whatever. I think that they are just a speck in the dust when it comes to everything that we are going to work on in this type of metaverses. Yeah.
I think you probably nailed that a bit earlier, though. Star Atlas have used a few sayings like power to the people without actually fully understanding how much that resonated with the people. So it's super awesome. There was something you actually didn't talk about. I know, listening to one of your very first interviews, Kristian, how you talked about setting up a NFT of battle scenes, like having a 20-second clip of a battle scene from Star Atlas potentially play out. And that was one of the things I remember you talked about with the Great Protocol, being able to set up and have like a 20-second clip of like a battle happening.
Mm-hmm. Like here is something very important when it comes to the Great Protocol. I think a lot of people are sleeping on it, but I think that it's one of the most important tools the Solana communities created. It's what they pretty much have is in their hands is NFT identity verification. and this is how I'm viewing it. Their Grape Verify tool is pretty much what you can integrate in the Staratos metaverse, for example. And I already have those talks with the developers. If they can use this tool to become like the platform which all of those NFT projects, the PFP projects on Solana can go in, they can create their communities, they can use the Grape protocol which is integrated in the Staratos metaverse, and they can verify their identity. For example, if you want to go through a Stargate, you need to have certain NFT. For example, if you want to visit Dejan Ape Academy space station, you need to have their NFT in order to verify your identity. And it will be like a permission key. The Grape 2 will give like the permissions to different organizations to use NFTs like keys. And this is creating huge use case for all of those communities, which is the biggest issues that I'm personally seeing. Just those PFP NFT projects don't really have like serious use case or just demand for them. I know very well that in the future, let's say we have millions of people in the Staratos metaverse, and there will be traders like just like business traders who want to visit different communities, but the only way to visit them is if you own their NFT, right, in this metaverse. So I think it will be really interesting to see where we'll go. And I was telling you, Barndog, before about those 20 seconds or 10 seconds different videos length, which we can create and in a way like record the information with them. Like there is different tools that are providing something like this, that you can make a video, and after that we can create this video in NFT format and just allow people to sell it. This is something very interesting, like tool that we're considering. We just need to make sure that we have the right APIs in connection with the metaverse, but we need to wait. This is the thing, we are very early, so most of our plans and our tools that we're building will be more effective in a year worth of time, not now for sure. But for example, now I think the best thing is good decks that we release it, and the DAOs that we'll be working on in the December.
Yeah, touching on the decks, I love seeing the Star Atlas decks at the start. It was easily the best form of information I saw cleared out for being able to search prices on ships, posters, all of that side of things. You guys have now got quite a few partnerships with, by you guys, I mean, I'm part of Interstellar Alliance. You know, that's what I joined very early. Kristian brought me into it from just basically answering questions. He was one of the very first into Star Atlas, and you know, read the paper 5 times, and brought people into it, and started building this thing that is now the Interstellar Alliance. So a whole lot of sub guilds, a whole lot of guilds of guilds. So how does DonKane, so the Atlessio Guild, how does that fit into the Interstellar Alliance?
Well, sure. So I think what Kristian was about to say was, so technically we're not a sub guild of the Interstellar Alliance, but we are a part of the UMO. And the illusion that Kristian always makes, that I think is really good in understanding, is the Interstellar Alliance is kind of like the United States, right? And all the sub guilds are these different states, that they have their own bylaws and their own rules, kind of like the difference between states laws and federal laws in the United States. And then the UMO is a little bit more akin to like the United Nations. So, us being a mafia organization, you could call us Italy, right? Where the Interstellar Alliance is the United States.
But we know what happened to you guys in World War II.
It's okay. This time we'll be working together.
Yeah. Exactly.
Just a second. That was the correct way that the Don said. We are not really pushing people to be part of the Interstellar Alliance. But if they want their organization to have their roots with us and to be everybody to be under one umbrella, this is very welcome. But the independent organization can feel free to be part of the United Metaverse organizations and again work with one huge umbrella, right?
What I love seeing, and Rome do a really good job of this as well, and like I've actually said in one of the videos for them is that, Kristian, if you hadn't touched me early, and I'm not talking Michael Jackson touching, but if you hadn't touched me early in the stage of my experience in Star Atlas, Rome is a guild that would have gotten me very much from the way they think, they talk. They're out there, they're talking about it, they haven't made these alliances, but you guys want to bring people into the umbrellas. You want people to think, you're encouraging people to think, make these alliances and build out the metaverse. And this is stuff that we need. So we've seen many sub-guilds come out from Interstellar Alliance. We saw the Atlas. How has he rebranded that? Atlas. They're going to be the Hollywood style of Interstellar Alliance.
Yeah, I think that it's good that different people. I just want different people to take responsibilities, because I'm well aware that we need a lot of the capable people here who are able to put weight on their shoulders and take care of people, because this is exactly what we are doing, right? This is organizations. We are taking care of people. We are taking care of their assets. This is huge responsibility, and I think that what I was trying to do is just to encourage the most active, the most serious people to be able to just use their abilities, because what we want to focus on is just creating jobs, as many jobs as possible in the metaverse, just to make sure that the people from the physical world are able to have some kind of a standing in the future world of cryptocurrencies and crypto digital assets. I think that it will be extremely important if we are trying to just encourage each other to, just use all of our abilities as best as we can, and to not hide away from responsibilities. I think that nowadays everybody, or at least the majority of people, want to have a little bit easier, right? Everybody just to gain, but someone need to put the work, right? And I think that this is what we're doing, just encouraging people to do what they're best at. And I'm well aware that people are incredible individuals, especially in this space, and they just need to work, right?
And what I really do appreciate for Interstellar Alliance, and I've seen this from a few guilds now, is that you guys are out there trying to build for the future of the metaverse, and you're not out there putting out these challenges, don't come and test us, or we'll destroy everything you've got. That kind of shit really doesn't interest me as a gamer. We're not talking about a metaverse that a game is active now. We're building for the future. We need to get these things built. We need to get people. We need to get teams, assets built, and things going. So you are building for a long term.
Are we turning the metaverse and games into the real world? Isn't the reason we play games to get away from the real world?
It's a bit of both.
We play games?
I agree with you. This is the reason, but as we are seeing, the technology is constantly improving, and games are constantly becoming more close to the real world, right? And I was reading this book, very interesting book, where in the future the humanity exported their issues, their military capabilities, pretty much the violence part of our society, in a metaverse type of environment, where it was pretty much deciding absolutely everything when it comes to the physical world. For example, two nations have a conflict. They will be fighting each other not in the physical world, but in the metaverse type environment, where the winners take out, right? And I was thinking about this, how interesting of an idea it is to just yes, we are not able to create utopia where everyone is equal, everything is fair, everything is safe in a metaverse type of environment, but maybe we are able to solve some of the physical world issues with them, with the metaverse. And
I-
I don't really think that we'll be able to minimize or just eliminate the chaos in our lives or in our world or the game itself. But I'm pretty sure that we can stabilize at least the space a lot more than if we are not working together, right? If we are working together, we will be more on the side of order and just balance, and we'll still have the gaming aspects and the chaos which certain pirates may be bringing and just bad actors in general. But I think that overall we'll still be enjoying it as a game, just it will be a lot more connected to the real world than we are expecting currently.
what you mentioned there just quickly reminded me of Cyberpunk 2077. It was the third, I think, corporate war where it wasn't even fought in real life anymore. It was just fought on the internet and fought in the metaverse. That's just something that I thought about when you said it. But I wanted to quickly come back to the Don because I did have a question for you, Mr. Don. So you guys are kind of cataloging all the guilds in Star Atlas at the moment, which is a pretty great document at the moment. Do you guys have any other tools similar to Kristian, who's releasing some NFTs soon? Do you have anything coming out?
Sure, sure. Yeah, I think so kind of to give everyone who isn't familiar with us, we're the Atlessio family. My name is, TheDonKane. I'm the boss of the organization. We're highly gamified, and we put a lot of emphasis on lore, right? So hence the mafia, the multicultural mafia theme. Um, my background is in investment research, and I'd worked at a few different hedge funds and even a crypto hedge fund in 2019. And so I'm very analytical. I'm very research. I'm very calculated. And when I do something, I spend a lot of time just delving into the weeds and trying to figure out everything that's going on. And so the Atlessio Research Group really was my attempt to kind of just give the community what I was already going to do anyways. And I already had experience doing front end web development, so I felt I'd make it pretty for the community and have an open source resource. But what that actually ended up turning into, funny enough, was kind of almost like this information incubator. So we have a few research analysts in our guild. And there was this one guy who had very minimal knowledge of the cryptocurrency landscape, and he's been using the frameworks that we have. And literally just yesterday, he taught me what a fair launch protocol was. And so I think it's really interesting to see his growth in particular, but to see how that's kind of like been blossoming, what that's kind of blossomed into. But really, so now our main focus right now, and I should probably say this, is that our main focus overall is the guild is using these high APR protocols like the ships and staking and all of that different things and playing the game, right? That's our main focus. But before there's any gameplay, that's clearly not a possibility. But our focus right now is on the third part, which is Atlessio Art. And we've got a lot of good plans going with that, but really the idea is we want to build out the lore, right? Like I said before, we think that this idea of all work eventually being in the metaverse one day, right? Instead of people going to their office jobs, they're going to log into Star Atlas or whatever as their full-time job. And so we think that some of the main employers, some of the main like organizations that are providing infrastructure and framework for people to use it as a full-time job is going to be these guilds. And we want to fully gamify it, right? I want someone to come into the Atlessio family, and if they watch The Sopranos growing up and they really love the mafia lore, then they can come in, they can be a mob boss, right? And that makes people feel like they're the central character in a story, right? Like they're in a movie, right? And I think that's kind of like the whole idea behind this lore centric approach is that we're gonna have short stories, we're gonna have artwork, we're gonna have NFTs, we're gonna have all the whole shebang. But at the end of the day, it's like we want people to feel, we want to make work feel like play, essentially. So yeah.
Right. So you're going to be releasing some artwork, some NFTs perhaps, to
Yeah,
help increase the lore.
Indeed.
Like I remember in one meeting we were talking about this type of information network that the mafia can build, and I was saying it in a joking way, right? That the Don can create this type of information network in the metaverse, which is where the United Metaverse organizations go and just try to get information, right? And we pay them for that information they're analyzing, and this is what I really like it when it comes to the United Metaverse organizations. I was really encouraging everyone, all of those capable people, to create different tools and services, right, which can just enrich the metaverse that we will be part of. And I think that this is the most important thing that we can currently do while we don't have the game. We just try to use our skills in development or pretty much war making or anything, whatever we can figure it out. For example, Dodger from our community created extremely useful website for all of the guilds in the metaverse, who you can just go register your name and just put all of the information for your community. So it was literally a lifesaver for Santiago, which was doing this manually in the guild recruitment channel, and he had to make all the edits and put all of the new guilds information there, and it was pretty much a few hours job per day, right? And he take the responsibility on his shoulder and created entire guild recruitment website, and everybody started using it. I think that was very beautiful, right? In a way, how we can create such a extremely important tools for the entire community in a level playing field, right? He's pointed out that he don't really want to make it for one guild or something like this, and we completely respect this decision of him. It's extremely important that we are making those tools as user-friendly and neutral as possible, because if you are trying to make it for just one person to use it, or just for one community, I think it's not very well designed. For example, all of those competitions with the grape community, I actually had to make a meeting with Dean. My apology that I didn't contact him yesterday. I had really big meetings, but overall, what we are planning to do is just all kinds of different, not just tournament where few people win, but competitions where we are able to create as much more value for as many people as possible, right? I don't really like to create competitions only where few people win, right? Because you have community of thousands of people. So how you can make it, everybody to enjoy it, everybody to gain something out of it, right? I think that this type of services and just tools that can increase the engagement of the community is going to be a game changer. Our NFT project is designed to create this huge amount of interactions in the community. So yes, I can't wait to be able to announce it. Probably around the end of the year, we will be able to just announce it, start with the minting process, and just make sure that everybody understanding what we're doing, because I personally consider it as one of the most important things for any metaverse.
We're approaching 2 hours now, and I don't want to stop on what you're saying there, Kristian. That's like, we need more of these kinds of conversations every week, and I love what the information we're getting tonight. I love the fact that we're building for the long term. Don, I really appreciate you coming on channel as well. It's very funny, when we first built this Friday night program, we thought 1 hour a week we could talk half an hour Star Atlas, and half an hour the rest of Solana gaming, and every single week we've found that that's not possible. There's so much happening in everything that we need to do more as a team. Metaverse mentioned something tonight, possibly having some kind of a weekly event. I'd fucking love to be able to make that something further down the track.
A monthly event for like the state of the deck, if that's what you were talking about.
Yeah, let's make it happen. Like there's so many ideas, so many suggestions we make and we talk about, but let's try and make that happen. A monthly event.
All right.
Pencil in 2 hours for that, and there's so much more we can talk about for Interstellar Alliance, the TheDonKane. Don, you're coming in Sunday with Metaverse, is that right?
I am. Yeah, I am.
And I even said to TheDonKane, he mentioned, I did a bit of a chat in Interstellar Alliance and said, if there's anyone that wants to come onto a stage with the old Barndog, I'm happy to make that happen. And I want to be able to do more from my own personal experience to be able to put the spread out on Solana gaming. So many fucking messages. But that's amazing, and I love the fact that we can have a bit of a bitch and a moan about Star Atlas and keep going. But we've probably got a good 15 minutes of other stuff to talk about now. So Kristian, Don, you're welcome to stay on stage, and I really appreciate you guys coming on stage tonight.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Barndog.
Yeah, thanks guys for coming. That's awesome.
And before, if you do decide to go, I just want to get a quick yes or no. If Kristian and Don, if you guys would be interested, we're getting together with Rome, AFIA, all the other larger guilds for like either a weekly or like a monthly state of the deck meeting. What do you guys think? Yes or no?
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, 110%. I do want to touch again on this idea of innovating the DAO theory, the idea or the theory behind DAOs, and my co-founder, like I said, Jimmy Hoffa, he's very, very well versed in political theory, and he's got a lot of ideas. He's got the same distaste we all do about these large blood-soaked institutions in the real world. And I think he would provide a lot of good insight, a lot of conversation starters for how we think about DAOs and what the DAOs need to be, what type of innovation needs to happen within the DAOs.
Oh, bring him along. We'll do it.
I reckon once a month. I reckon easy we can make that happen. And for me personally, from Grape, I'd love to be able to make that happen here on a neutral ground. Don't think of us as the UN of Star Atlas, though.
No, we're China, bro.
China's going to win.
China number one.
All right. Thank you for having me. I'll have to jump off, but yeah, thank you for all the audience for being here and all the great conversations, questions, and answers. I managed to learn quite a bit. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Kristian. Thanks you for coming.
Yeah, thank you guys as well. And Metaverse Explorer, I will talk to you on Sunday.
We'll see you in 2 days, mate.
All right.
So we've been going almost 2 hours. It's funny watching the crowd numbers go up through the night. It's makes me feel like we need to stay up later, Metaverse. But you've got work in the morning. Let's try and knock off some of the talk points that. I've personally had a bit of a slack week this week. I played a lot of League of Legends. I'm going to even have a game before bed after a beer. Nothing good happens after midnight, but I need a game. I'm desperate for a game in Solana. Cryo War, I had them on stage this week, and I don't want to plug into that, but this actually looks like a game that is going to potentially be happening prior 2022 beta. I think I might have secured myself a seat in the beta play, which is pretty cool. But we are so early in Solana gaming, people need to be prepared for the long haul, and that's what we're seeing in Star Atlas is the long haul. You're putting money in assets, you're putting money in chances and tokens and coins, and you're settling down for the long term. But lots and lots of games and lots of things are happening. Big things in Genopets, big things in Project Seed, big things in even Soul Chicks. That's a very big game at the moment.
Yeah, that really caught me off guard there. I thought it was just shitty, crappy PFP picture of little chickens, but then I saw the gameplay and I was like, oh shit, they're actually building something.
Yeah, they're it's a very hard team to talk to. I actually walked away from a conversation. I did a bit of a Barndog, got angry and fucking walked away and just they are a team that had a bit of trouble early because they did a link up with Ice Cube. They had a shout out from him, but it was a paid for introduction, and I think that hurt them more. I'm seeing a picture there from you. What do you got there for me?
Oh, just something from Twitter about some of the upcoming games, which they included Genopets and Cryo War. And I thought I should check out some of these other games.
Animoca Brands is huge. So we've seen any chance people have, and we don't have. I don't have as much alpha tonight as what I would like to have. But if you get a chance to be able to link into these projects like Radium, Selenium, and you get a chance to do coins, Genopets did their launch last night, and it was around $30 on FTX, $24 on Radium. And what is that? Do you remember, Killen, what that was at?
It's currently $22.59.
Yeah, it's still up there. So, $22 on FTX.
So, any like gaming coins at the moment, games...
Metaverse coins.
Yeah, Metaverse. That's a very interesting term. I hadn't heard that yet. Did you coin that just then?
Yes, I did. Me.
Facebook's suing very soon.
Like Bitcoin is severely fucking down today. Oh fuck! I'm just looking at it now. Axis is down. AXS. Any chance you get into these pre-mint coins? Very interesting point to look at. Soul Chicks though, they're not doing launches on any mainstream Solana protocols. They're all fucking off stream. Does anyone have any idea on what that's happening there?
I don't know, but it doesn't give you much hope when they're not using one of the big name players and they're using all smaller ones. It seems to me that normally ends in being a scam.
Yep.
Yeah, it's...
But then again, I'm negative. That's just me.
You are a negative Nelly, but he was going to give me half his Genopets coins until he found out they hit $30, and then he said, no, fuck you, Barndog.
Well, that's funny because I actually was just going into Phantom to send them to you.
He's my sugar daddy. Bought an R8 for Star Atlas and got, I think, kind of shafted, honestly, with the news. We won't go into Star Atlas too much more, though, but...
yeah, no, don't bring it up. It's a sore point.
Nah, it keeps going on.
It is. You know, like there's so much happening in Solana gaming. And Soul Chicks, the gameplay looks awesome. Metaverse, you said the same thing yourself. That they had 3v3, and it was 3v3 in arena styled like a battle,
free for all, yeah, kind of thing.
Yeah, and then there was also a PvE element. They're fighting the big wolf.
Yep, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll link it down here.
They look good. Sorry, I had to mute off there for the old beer burp. But the game looks good. They've done a lot of link ups. They're doing a lot of promotionals. Their last two videos look really cool as well, where they linked up their player characters. You've got different. You've got the setup. You can get different kinds of gear, different animations. It looks really, really cool. As to how well that does, I can't say. You know, like they're launching the Chick token very soon, and people are getting access into getting early coins and all that kind of stuff. But they're not launching on Radium. They're not launching on Selenium, and that is concerning to me.
Yeah, same. I don't know who else said it, but that is slightly concerning, I think. When you go away from the pack, you know, it kind of says something. That means, like, you're not part of the group. So either they might get some traction or they will fail very hard.
Also, these big exchanges, they cost a fucking fortune to get onto.
So the big, what do you mean with that, Eggy? So,
well, I think it's like $1 million to get a coin listed on Binance, for instance.
I think you'll find that times have changed a bit, and a lot of the exchanges take coins as a bit of a guarantee.
And I think that, yeah, I would agree that the space is changing now. People are seeing that, with the rise of DEXs, people don't usually need exchanges as much, so they've probably lowered the payment for this. They're like, yeah, you're making this much volume on Uniswap. Come to our exchange. You can make good volume too. I think that's what's actually happening here. DEXs are eating up all the volumes, to be honest.
But if you look at who's pushing the DEXs, I would suggest that CZ and Sam are the one pushing everyone to the DEXs. They want it decentralized.
you've always seen with Solana, Sam wants it decentralized. Even the way that they used to have 10% staking bonus for Solana and took that to 6%. You get more on Phantom. You get more on Soulflare staking wallets and stuff. They want that.
Just sent you 50 Geno pets for you, Barndo, so that way you can stop looking at me.
Haha. 23 tickets, and I got 0 winning tickets on Radium. Metaverse hit his first ticket. Is that right?
Yeah, my fucking first ticket ever. I've been on Selenium for so long, Radium for so long, not a single ticket. But for this Geno pets that I'm not even very familiar with, I got a bloody ticket, and I'm very happy. I've already cashed out my original. I've bought more Radium as a bonus, and I'm still in profit, so I'm very happy.
So did you sell Geno coins and Gene coins?
Yeah, Gene, just only a little bit, just to cover the initial cost of the entry, which was like $80. And got some more Radium.
My question on that is, are you going to pay tax on that?
Oh, don't do it.
Oh, that's
just
get him off.
I don't
Get
know
him
what
off.
you mean.
Obviously, you've just sold something that you've made profit on, so you're going to be paying 50% or close to 50% on that. So you've obviously put some in another account to cover your tax for that.
Yes, I have.
Yeah, okay. Just for the record, I'm not the ATO.
Not financial advice. I've still got an out clip of the old. Is that financial advice, Metaverse?
Yeah.
The rule of threes.
Yeah, the rule of threes.
I love hearing the fact. What out of curiosity, what did you sell coins at, Metaverse?
Oh, it was just recently, I don't know, like 3 hours ago, 4 hours ago. So whatever it was, $20.
Yeah, I like it. Like, I fucked up with my Star Atlas. I got Polis, only 1 ticket out of 66. But yeah, it's cool to see. You know, like at the moment there is a chance to be able to make money from any of the standard Solana kind of launch protocols, IDOs. We're getting more and more IDOs. We're getting more chances to be able to make returns. DeFi Land go next week on Radium. I think that's a Wednesday night. Wednesday for Radium. But by all means, NFA, do your own research, etc., etc. But it's a chance to make money.
I think
you're looking at $70 for 14,000 of DFL. So that's pretty good.
It's funny, like you know, everyone's got chat groups and they talk to people and they talk to different mates and stuff that are there to help each other. I started crypto this year to stop playing World of Warcraft. That was the big lead-in for these. Killer Machine, Sixon, they both helped me. They know I'm an addict like a motherfucker. I'll play these games and I'll hook in. But seeing that chance and being able to help out and get me into the crypto has been an amazing chance. And Solana has done it for me, and seeing these games, these big things, these big chances, there's ways to make money. But you know, that gives me a chance for personal people to help me in my journey through crypto. These guys have been in it for a while. But we are super early in gaming, we're super early in Solana, and we're seeing some of these big ticket things. So DeFi Lands, I don't think is going to be a big, huge coin that is like Geno Pets, But I put DeFi land as a long-term hold. I got one in Selenium, and I won't be selling any of those. So any coins that I can potentially win via Radium, I'll be holding on to. And again, NFA, I don't want to give people the wrong information. Like, I don't want to hurt people financially in this. You know, as an Aussie, we earn a lot of money working in mining. I don't need this to change my weekly progression in life. But DFL, I see, is one of those ones where their version 2 will come in the game, and long term, I think it's going to be super awesome.
Speaking of Genopets, I reckon they probably be the second best game performing coin so far on Solana. Maybe
No.
the polls.
So CryoWar did 263. What did Genopets do?
Not sure about their token.
Yeah, it's, 80 cents a coin, and they went to what, $25? Metaverse, you're my maths expert. What's that?
Started at 40.
Not sure. Haven't looked at the numbers.
He's AFK.
Hey, one question I want to check with people is, how many people have bought their domain names on Solana? Are people still buying them?
People are still buying them. I know Grape just had a big integration with them at the moment. There's a big one to touch on Star Atlas, because it's a bit of a hurting point, really, is why the fuck do we need to buy our gaming name in Star Atlas, aside from paying money and then making money off us, if we've already bought this name on Solana?
Yeah, well, just reason I ask is, Fuckstar.Atlas.sol is still available. So if there's any jaded investors out there, you can still get it.
I'm still buying them, just because I still think it's going to be worth it later on down the road.
Yeah,
important ones, you know.
I reckon I've got 15 now.
Oh shit!
Yeah, maybe.
The problem with these names, though, is say you go to the future and crypto's fully adopted the mainstream, and someone knows your fucking name, they can see exactly what you're up to.
Yeah, but they can.
I know they can see your wallet, but it's harder.
But this is where blockchain gaming comes into. It's different than normal gaming. Is that you're on chain, and it's you still can't explain that. That's the old Jay and Silent Bob movie where they go and bash old mate at his house. They get his address, they write it down, they go and bash him. You know, like, you can be doxed in real world.
Yeah, it's like when I joined Discord, one of my mates used me name straight away first day, even though I said don't use me name.
Was that me, Scott?
I wonder who that was.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't stop the old drunk Barndog.
Yeah,
but
I know.
This is why mates are still with me. You know, we're not here to make millions. We're here to have some fun, play some games. Solana Gaming, it is all about it. We've got more
keep
things.
bastards honest.
We've got well, fuck it. If we can't keep people honest, and I think people need to have more of a say. I feel proud that I've not sponsored. It's a bad word, but you know, like, I've done research into games. CryoWar was fucking amazing to get them on stage this week. From a game that I did their first video review, and we got them on stage this week. I think CryoWar is going to be second, third biggest game on Solana, and we're going to get this before.
Sounds like CryoWar's bought you a steak. That's you.
That's
Steak.
the funny thing. I need a steak and 3 pints, and I'm good to go. You know, get the old Barndog a steak and 3 pints, and he's in for the long haul.
But you're right, but after that interview you had with him, I went and bought tokens.
I like what they're doing. They are free to play. They are fucking here to be long term. They've talked about the fact that they've looked at where they're going to have the servers set. They're going to be in the big countries. They're going to be in Europe. They're going to be in North America. In Australia, we might struggle, but fuck, Marion, it was his name. He answered all the questions. They put on $500 of prizes. I really had an enjoyable time that night. And he even said to me, like, during the interview, he was dubious to come on stage with us. And the reason he came on stage at Grape was the fact that I covered them early in the whole career of CryoWar. And that made me proud of the work I've done, but also highlighted the fact that not all of these games are out to earn millions of dollars in backyard practices. Like, they want to be honest. They want to be accountable in the community.
Gents, I'm going to head off. I have work in 5 hours. I do have to sleep.
What do you actually do for work, Meta?
If I told you, you'd be able to track me down. It's a public job.
Oh, so you work for something? Yeah, okay, that's all right.
He gives us the vaccines.
Yeah, that's right. I give you the vaccines.
Were you the person that Tim Payne was texting, the female cricket person?
Yep.
I knew it.
Blown his cover now.
Damn it! I gotta go. I gotta go into hiding and not pay my taxes on my Geno pets.
You've been caught out tonight, Metaverse. We're going to have that on video. It's a recording. I'm putting it up tomorrow.
I've already tracked him on the blockchain as well. I've already got the record of the transaction.
I think that's going to be a super cool point. Metaverse, I love you. I'll see you tomorrow.
See you guys.
See you, man.
A lot of us aren't actually ready for blockchain gaming and the repercussions. You might get a lucky ticket in Radium, but you've got to be prepared to pay tax on that, especially in Australia. America, I'm not so much relevant towards. Europe, I've got no fucking idea on what their laws are like. But there's so much that we're very happy to take the win, but we've got to consider where we pay tax.